Don't forget to like, subscribe, and be sure to share this with someone else who could really benefit from seeing these videos. I'm Daniel, ready to rock and roll with another episode. We're going to break down another diet that I definitely get asked questions on, whether it's a good idea, whether it's not a good idea, should I do it, should I not do it, and that is the keto diet. Alright, this is going to be a fun one. I'm going to really piss some people off. And hopefully for those who are wondering, we're going to answer that question for you as well. So keto diet, we got to understand what the keto diet is. So keto diet honestly is originally formulated to minimize and reduce carb intake. So specifying back to a specific macronutrient, which would be carbohydrates. The goal would be to, some people with a keto diet are going to completely abstain from eating carbohydrates, or they'll just minimize it and reduce it to a very, very low amount. So the primary source of their intake is going to come from protein and fats. With that being said, as I said in the video about the intermittent fasting type of way of eating, is the keto diet is not going to work for everyone. So that's one for sure. Not going to work for everyone. As well as it's just, again, another tool that could work. People are going to potentially be on a calorie deficit when they do it. If they're losing weight on a keto diet, they're on a calorie deficit. Years back, so that before they even came up with the idea of the keto diet, or naming it the keto diet, note keto, ketogenics, or ketones, were, again, the breakdown of fats, again, it's usually part of the science word. It's not like something really fancy they came up with. They just used again, a scientific word that really means fats inside the, just breaking it down. So with this diet, before this you had the Atkins diet, which was very, very similar. Again, reduction of carbohydrates, potentially none, very similar diet. To give a little bit of a story, I remember several of my family members who fell into this. This is way before I even, before I went to college. This is before I even knew too much about nutrition. Looking back, I wish at that time I knew that information. At the same time, I don't think it would have mattered. I was younger than them anyway. But I remember two family members that tried the Atkins diet. Again, very, very similar to keto. Yes, no, it's not exactly the same. Someone's going to try and butcher me in the comments. These two individuals went on it. Again, sustainability and adherence is humongous, and also specific to the individual on whether or not it's a useful tool. So one of them didn't have great health outcomes. It actually made him more fatigued, and most definitely did not help his blood markers, mainly because it didn't fit with some of the health factors that he had. Namely, when you have high cholesterol and you already eat too much saturated fats already, probably not a good idea to go purely off of carbohydrates and go strictly to fats and protein, because again, you're just going to increase the already problem of eating too many saturated fats. And now the carnivore people will attack me in the comments. Don't worry, I'm after y'all soon. With that, needless to say, health issues. The next individual, he did lose a significant amount of weight while doing the Atkins diet, but then after he got off of it, he blew back up. what's going on. Again, let's go back to it's a tool to potentially help someone get somewhere, but if, again, the goal is to improve quality of life, we want to look for something that is more sustainable and something that you can easily adhere to, as well as individual variances. So that one individual variance, not exactly ideal for his health. Because if we're creating healthy habits, you'll start noticing that you will alter how you eat anyway. Go back to some of the basics, like I've said in other videos, where if you think about an 80-20 thought process, 80% of your diet, you're on point, 20% of grace, 80% made up of whole foods, 20%, again, like I said, grace on that, you're going to do much better off. But with this keto diet, it can be very useful for some, but where a lot of things go wrong is when we promote it as the end-all be-all, just like any other diet. With the reliance on keto, there have been people, I'll go through at least the positive, there have been people who will talk about how their cognitive ability is a little bit better, they feel like they can think better, performance a lot of times, especially in the gym, can be hindered due to the fact that you don't have glucose to go off of, carbohydrates to go off of. Your body's having to run off of ketones. Again, some people will perform still potentially positively better anyway with more fats. I remember meeting an individual who had that. She performed Olympic weightlifting and did much better with low carbohydrates and higher fats. Again, that is a potential for that individual. What kind of goes wrong though is now we have a lot of, again, things sell well, just like any other diet's going to sell well with people, is they're going to go into stores and now you got all these things that are keto friendly, and if you pay attention, it's a lot of processed foods that just are trying to say they're keto friendly with this higher fat content and low carbohydrate content to none potentially, but if you notice, it's still, again, tons of processed foods. So those are just some things to kind of pay attention to when you're looking at various different diets that are being talked about. So when a client comes to me and says, like, should I do keto? Go, it depends. Not the answer no anyone really wants. I want you to tell you the point blank, but it really does depend. And typically I'll talk to a client and go, okay, let's work on your nutrition. Let's improve, let's track things. Let's go back to tracking. Let's go track things first, let's find out where you're at. Let's adjust. Normally we're having to fix the protein intake. We'll fix the protein intake, kind of let the carbohydrates and fats alone, and as we slowly go, let's play around with them and see if what your positive responses are and negative responses are to when we adjust fats to be lower, fats to be higher, carbs to be lower, carbs to be higher, and that kind of factor. So if you really want to know, will keto work for me? Track, improve your protein intake to what we've talked about before, where around 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. Do that, and then start adjusting to where you go more, the rest of your diet being more fats, less carbs, and adjust. If you do really well with it, then cool, there's your answer. But again, it does depend a lot on a ton of different individual pieces to the puzzle. Alright, like I said, there's more to come on nutrition. We're going to talk about various different other diets, probably tick some people off, and hopefully be very informative for others. Until next time.